Hey folks, Lever here once again. Welcome back to another movie review. I'm sorry I haven't done a video in a while, guys. I wasn't doing this week, but after I reviewed Stamp Day for Superman, which I'm continuing my Superman reviews, by the way, I was going to do it, but I was feeling a bit under the weather, so I could not do it at the time. I mean, I'm not seriously sick or anything. I was a little sick, but I'm better now. Sorry if you hear that. It was just my sinuses and stuff. It's cold weather out and stuff. And I just didn't feel well. But now I feel like getting back into these Superman reviews. Again, I'm doing my Superman marathon on my channel, starting with the Superman franchise, and now I'm getting into the Superman live-action movies. That's what I'm going to start with. I reviewed Superman the Moment, Stamp Day for Superman. I did my history with Superman to start out, and then I gave my thoughts on the Fleischer cartoons, the 1940s cartoons. And now I'm going to be reviewing the Christopher Reeve Superman franchise. Yes. There's all 4 movies. I do Superman the movie on DVD, but I have it on Blu-ray. I just prefer watching on Blu-ray. My DVD probably won't work anymore, so if the movie didn't work, it wouldn't matter because I have it on Blu-ray, yeah. But yes, finally, I'm reviewing Superman the movie. Yes, Baby Kal-El there, when he comes to Earth, in his little spaceship. Superman the movie, hands down, in my opinion, probably the best superhero movie ever, in my opinion. I think a lot of people will like this movie. It's fine if you don't. Some people might not like Superman the movie, but I love this film. Christopher Reeve, by the way, I'll say it, he's my Superman. I love this movie. I'd say thank you, Richard Donner. Because of this movie right here, Superman the movie, because of this film, I believe we get superhero films today. Superhero films you got in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and even today, is because of Superman the movie. You got the MCU, you got the DCU movies, you got all the superhero films coming out. It's because of Superman the movie, really pushed that, That's what I've always believed, It really kick-started this superhero genre. But anyway, let's get into how Superman the movie got made, shall we? Oh, and on the DVD and Blu-rays, you do have a making of, taking flight, making Superman, some screen test. And even on the DVD, you can listen to some of the music from the movie, which is cool. And you can see some of the scenes that the editor cut out of the movie. But here we go. Let's see how Superman the movie came to be. Alright. This might be a long review, and it is nighttime, but hey, I got all night. I ain't working tomorrow. Pretty much to start that out with Ellie Salkind, I can't say his name right, had first conceived the idea for Superman film in late 1973. In November 1974, after a long, difficult process with DC Comics, the Superman films were purchased by Lyle and his father, who he confessed, Alexander Salkind. Salkind decided they wanted to make Superman films, make a Superman movie, make a thing out of it. DC wanted a list of actors worthy for the part of Superman, and for the producers' choices of Muhammad Ali, Al Pacino, James Caan, Dustin Hoffman, Steve McQueen, Clint Eastwood. The filmmakers thought it was best to film Superman and Superman 2 back-to-back. Well, first they had, of course, to start with the Superman the movie, they had the budget. First of all, what they said behind the scenes is that Warner Brothers did not want, which Warner Brothers distributes this movie, I believe. Yeah, they do distribute Superman. And they didn't want to make this movie because they felt it would be campy or cheesy like the Batman 60 show. They didn't want to do it. They just thought it was ridiculous and, it wouldn't work. But Superman had a popular character for around some time, so, they eventually just bought into it, And for the producers for the film, because they had, of course, find the director. They found Richard Donner, who I think Richard Donner said he was like on the tour at the time, and he got the phone, and then Salkind called him and told him we want you to direct Superman, and they offered him like $1 million. He's like, okay, I'm there. And of course he came, and they told him the idea, and that's what he was hooked on, and how he got some of the people to help him out to make this movie. And the first casting choices was Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman. Superman. The poster was Marlon Brando was Jor-El. He plays Superman's father, and arch enemy Gene Hackman plays his arch enemy. Plays his arch enemy Lex Luthor. At first, Gene Hackman did not want to play the role of Lex Luthor because he wanted to do the series career. He thought it would tarnish, as he said, tarnish his career. But he decided to have fun with it, and he did. They started also to make Superman 2, and to make a negative big pickup deal with Warner Brothers. William Goldman was approached to write the screenplay, with Lee Brackett was considered. Later hired Alfred Brister, who began writing a film treatment. Alexander felt, however, the best are not famous enough, so hired Marzo Puzo to write the screenplay. Francis Ford Coppola, William Faulkner, and Richard Lester, who later directed Superman 2 and 3, Richard Lester did. Peter Yates were into Sam Picnic, which I can't say right, when negotiates to direct the film, dropped out when he produced a gun during a meeting with it. Dropped out when he produced a gun during a meeting with Ali. Wow. George Lucas turned out the role because of the commitment to Star Wars. They wanted Steven Spielberg to direct, but Alexander was skeptical, feeling it was best to wait until Spielberg's Big Fish opens, which was Jaws, was very successful. Both the producers to offer Spielberg the position, but by then Spielberg had already committed to the closely films of their kind. Guy Hamilton, who directed Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever, those James Bond movies. Yeah, he directed Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and The Man with the Golden Gun. My favorite being Goldfinger with them. They even suggested Guy Hamilton. Puzo delivered his 500-page script for Superman and Superman 2 in July 1975. J.R. appeared as one of Jones' Hitchman, with Clark Kent written as a television reporter. Dustin Hoffman, who was previously considered for Superman, turned down Lex Luthor. In early 1975, Brando signed on as Jor-El with a salary of $3.7 million. The box office gross, that's police signs and stuff, you can hear that. He mortified Cellcom by producing their first meeting that Jor-El appear as Green Suitcase or a bagel with Brando's voice. I think Marlon Brando, behind the scenes of the movie, he also had cue cards, with the director holding it and him reading the lines. That's just how he works, they say. And of course, Marlon Brando was a legendary actor. He'd been in The Godfather before this. And, he's been in a lot of movies. He's a classic actor, he's a great actor, he's great. And so was Gene Hackman. So, having those two names, they get your attention in your movie. Brandon had in contract to complete all scenes in 12 days. He also refused to memorize his lines, so cue cards, like I said, were applied across the set. Fellow Oscar Wilde Hackman was cast as Lex Luthor. The filmmakers made it a property to shoot all of Brando's and Hackman's footage because they would be committed to the films immediately. Lucas sometimes felt that Puzo had written a solid story for the two-part film. They deemed the script too long and so hired Robert Dano and David Newman. When they showed George McDonald Fraser was later hired to do some work on the script, but he says did little. The script was submitted in July 1976 and carried a camp tone, including a cameo appearance by Tadeusz Wallace as the Cujo character. The scripts for Superman 1 and 2 were now 400 pages. Wow. Pre-production started at studios in Rome. Marlon Brando found that he could not film entirely because of worn out for his breast, essentially unlike charge from the last Tango in Paris production. Max Robbins was strongly considered, but after the Cellcom saw The Omen, which is a horror movie directed by Richard Donner, they decided to go hire Richard Donner. And he got Tom Menkins to rewrite the script. According to Menkins, not a word from the Puzo script is used. It's well written, but still a ridiculous script. There's 505 pages. I said, you can't shoot the screenplay because you'll be shooting for that. Menkins, conceiving having each Kryptonian family was a Chris Wimley on a different letter. Tom Menkins, he also, I think, wrote some of the James Bond films. Yeah. He also wrote like Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun. He was uncredited for Superman. He was uncredited for films like also Despite Who Loved Me, Moonraker, Superman 2, and Gremlins and War Games, starring Matthew Broderick. he was uncredited for those. But he was a good writer, you know. I'm glad that he came in to do the script because I think he really made a good script. And it's unfair that he's uncredited, you know, because I think he deserves it, but that's just me. Okay, it was hugely excited the first time an A-list actor for Superman, but before Richard Donner was hired as director, Robert Redford was hired, although it's some, but he thought he was too famous and decided not to. Burt Reynolds also turned down the role. Sly Stallone was interested, but nothing ever came of it. Paul Newman was offered the choice of role of Superman. Lex Luthor Jarrell for $1 million, turning down all 3 roles. When it was decided to cast, they wanted to go with an unknown actor, so the casting director, Lynn Selmaster, first suggested Christopher Reeve. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I'm sorry. It's just nighttime. It's a little late, folks. Sorry. But Donner and the producers felt he was too young and skinny. Over 200 unknown actors auditioned for Superman. The casting director said that, you know, they were looking through the Superman actor pictures, and Lynn Selmaster, the casting director, he kept putting the picture there, you know, to get Christopher Reeve, and of course they didn't want to do it. They, I think, wanted originally also Bruce Jenner for the role, Patrick Wayne, John Wayne. Patrick Wayne was, but his father, John Wayne, was casted with cancer, stomach cancer. Neil Diamond, Arnold Schwarzenegger were hard for the role, but were ignored. Yeah, I can't see Arnold as the Terminator. I love Arnold, but, you know, as Superman, he's the Terminator, he's not Superman. They, you know, like you had Christopher Walken for Superman, Lyle Wagner. But I think Lyle Wagner, maybe that was the guy that originally was going to play Batman in the 60s show, but that part went to Adam West and John Voight. James Caan was off the board. He just turned it down because he said, I just couldn't wear the suit. The search became so desperate that producer Alkine's wife's dentist was screen tested, and they said he did good. Tom Landis said some of the actors did good, but they were just not right for the part. They were in shape, but doing the flying and doing the talking for Superman, the acting was just not there. They wanted David Prowse, who wanted to portray Superman. I think David Prowse plays also Darth Vader. Now, he doesn't have the voice, he's just in the suit for Vader. And I think he passed away too. Jeff East portrays young Clark Kent. Teenage East line were overdubbed. Reeve during production. I was not happy about because the producers never told me that in mind. East told me it was done with my permission. That turned to be okay. Chris did a good job, but eventually Christopher Reeve did a good job. They screen tested him. He said he put the Superman suit on. He just tightened up as he can, and you know really did the pose well. And behind the screen test, Richard Donner and Mike Ness were like, "Wow, this is our Superman." And Christopher Reeve put lots of his heart and effort. He took the role very seriously. He put his heart and soul into the role, and he worked out, he exercised, he got in shape for the role. And he played as Clark Kent also, you know, Clark Kent very differently in Superman, with Clark being bumbly and very clumsy and just awkward, you know, and Superman being straight, serious. You know, he played those roles very well in my opinion, you know, as the Clark Kent disguise. He did a very good job. Then you have Margaret Kidder cast as Lois Lane. Again, she was great, you know. She was a girl, you know, she just came from the country, so they said that she had a cowboy hat and cowgirl shoes on and, you know, dressed up as a cowgirl coming on set, and Christopher Reeve was like, what? And it was fun because her and Christopher Reeve were bickering a couple times like brother and sister. They didn't get along at first, but it was more like they had like a brother and sister kind of relationship where they would have to use wires to fly. Because again, with Superman in the movie, it's basically to make you believe a man can fly. But Principal Photography filming began on March 28, 1977, Palm Studios for the Krypton scenes. Budget as the most expensive film ever made. John Barry did the designs for Krypton, and Derek Mettings, who Derek Mettings, who did some of the special effects on Superman, and they had miniatures for the film and models. And Derek Mettings did that. He also worked on other films. I think some of the James Bond movies, like The Spy Who Loved Me, He worked on Spike Lee, Moonraker, Superman 2, For Your Eyes Only, Superman 3, and Supergirl, the movie. And of course Batman 89. And Goldeneye was his last movie. But Derek Menace, that man was a genius. I think he really brought a lot of miniatures and practical effects, miniatures and models for movies, and this guy just was good. Sorry. Okay, let me get back to Superman the movie. Yeah, Derek Merrison was visual effects supervisor. John Barrett was production designer and the art directors. They went to New York City from Metropolis, and they had some crowds to deal with. Filming in New York lasted 5 weeks. I think the helicopter scene where Superman first shows up in the film, Christopher Reeve said that took 6 months to film. The film, again, was hard because the thing is, though, this movie is to make you believe a man could fly, and again, this was before computer CGI at the time, so they didn't have CGI like we do today. So, not in the 70s. And they were also filming Superman 2, which eventually it caused some issues between Donner and the Salkinds because they didn't want to. They were upset because they thought Donner was just going over budget. They did go over budget a lot because they originally released the movie for May, but of course it never worked. Yeah. Here's some of the screenshots, some of the effects of Superman flying. Superman contains low-scale visual effects sequences. The Golden Gate Bridge scale model stood 70 feet long. They built these models and these miniatures for the movie. I think Krypton was basically a huge miniature. So, yeah, and some of the blue screen as well. Clark Kent for his running. It was executed when he kicked the football, it was loaded into an air blaster placed on the ground. I think him running fast, it was wires too, for the young actor. And also Christopher Reeve to fly, it was wires. But Christopher Reeve pulled it off. He didn't complain. He took the role very seriously. He got mad because Barbara Kiddo was like, "Are you supposed to be serious?" She's like, "It's in their picture." And then, of course, because Barbara Kiddo said that Chris Reeve was, very serious in the role. Superman. Rory Field, who did the special effects of the movie, he explains that of how he got it done, and I think he did a pretty impressive job with it. A lot of it was blue screen shots, which I think are really good. Jerry Goldsmith, who scored Donner's The Omen, was really set to compose. Goldman's work from Planet of the Apes was used in Superman's TV show. He dropped out over scheduling conflicts, and so we had John Williams, who did the music score for Superman. Kiddo was supposed to sing Can You Read My Mind, but the lyrics to which were written by Lizzie, but Donner disliked it and changed it to a voiceover, which I agree. You didn't need a song in the movie. Probably would have just been too silly. For the soundtrack of the movie, you have 17 tracks, and also for disc 2, you have the Superman March, the main title of the planet Krypton, Sharks. I'm not going to read all that. Just some of the, but there are 17 tracks, by John Williams. And John Williams has done a lot of music scores for a lot of movies over the years. Mainly he's worked with Steven Spielberg. He did the music score for Jaws, E.T., the Indiana Jones movies, Jurassic Park. Yeah, he did. The Star Wars films. He did the music score for that. Yeah, and of course Home Alone, and Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, and the Harry Potter films, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad they got him to do the music score for the movie, John Williams. Okay. But of course, for the movie, they got a December release for it. And it was good to probably just release it around Christmas time. And it was also the expensive film made up to that point, with a budget of $55 million. Of course, Superman released in December and was a critical and financial success. But eventually afterwards, Richard Donner got fired because of the so-called fired him over the issue with Superman 2. I guess they had a falling out. I don't know that full story. And, But well, I don't really think they should have done Superman 2, but I guess the producers won't do it, of course, because to make the money, but again, I don't think they should have made Superman 2 and Superman the movie. I think they should have just waited to make, this movie first and then do the sequel afterwards, but I guess a different time then. But, there have been sequels shot back to back. Only ones I can think of right now is like Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3, but those had bigger budgets because the first movie came out in 85 and Part 2 came out in 1989 and 1990 came out Part 3. So they had bigger budgets for that, and Superman the movie didn't really have a big budget, but Warner Brothers, they kept giving them the budget for the movie, but it's upset that Star got fired. Yeah, because I think he did a great job, making this movie. Okay, I'm sorry. The cast of the movie is Marlon Brando as Jor-El, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent, Superman, Ned Beatty as Otis, Jackie Cooper as Perry White, Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent, Trevor Howard as the First Elder, Margaret Kidder as Lois Lane, Jack O'Halloran as Non, William Pennery as Eve Tessmacher, Maria Shield, Terrence Stamp as General Zod, Felix Leicester as Martha Kent, Susan York as Laura, Mark McGraw as Jimmy Olsen, Sarah Douglas as Ursula, and of course General Zod, Ursula, and Nun, they would be the villains in Superman 2. Kirk Alyn and Neve Noah have cameo appearances as Lois Lane's father and mother in a deleted scene. That was sort of later on in the media. Alyn and Neil portrayed Superman. Kirk Alyn portrayed Superman in Superman 1942 and now Atomic Man vs. Superman. And Noel, she was responsible for the 1950s Adventures of Superman, starring George Reeves, the late George Reeves. It is directed by Richard Donner, who has also made other films after this. Not just the horror film The Omen, which I've never seen, but he directed The Goonies, Lady Hawk, the Lethal Weapon films, Scrooged. Yeah, I don't think he's done any movies lately, but he's produced some superhero movies. He was an executive producer on Free Willy and Free Willy 2: The Adventure Home, Free Willy 3. Free Willy was a childhood favorite film of mine, which I did review on my channel. If you want to check it out, guys. Some of my random reviews. Delirious, which starred the late John Candy. Yeah, I've seen that movie. And of course, X-Men and X-Men Origins of Wolverine, which I heard Christopher Nolan and Bryan Singer, and some other superhero directors that are, Christopher Nolan directed the Dark Knight trilogy, and Bryan Singer directed X-Men, so, they're big fans of him. So he has some of that connections. And of course, he was said to do other superhero films by other studios, but of course he turned them down. Because I heard he was offered a lot of other superhero films, but declined them. Produced by Bruce Springler, screenplays by Mario Puzo, David Newman, Leslie Newman, and Robert Pinto. The story is by Mario Puzo, but I really think the one who wrote the script was Tom Maintenance, and again, I think he deserves the credit. It's based on Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The music is by John Williams. It's soundtracked by Jeffrey Unsworth. It's edited by Stuart Brad and Michael Ellis. It's distributed by Columbia MM Warner Studios. Well, I'm just going to say Warner Brothers for us in the U.S. It was released December 14th, 1978 in the UK and December 15th, 1978 in the United States. It's 143 minutes long, even though it says 151 minutes. I would say the movie's 2 hours. Yeah. And the budget to make the movie was $55 million, and at the box office it made $300.5 million worldwide. So this movie was a huge success when it came out. Superman was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Film Editing, Best Original Score, and Best Sound. Donner probably first discussed that production design John Barry, cinematography Jeffrey Unsworth had not been recognized by the Academy, which was a shame. Those two, Jeffrey Unsworth, I heard that, I remember Margaret Kidder, because I was watching the making of the movie before I watched it today to prepare for this review. She said that he, was very nice to her. He's very nice man. He did a good job with the cinematography. I mean, this film has very beautiful cinematography. I'll get more into that later. But it won some Academy Awards. Even if it didn't win the awards, I don't really care. I don't care about the Academy Awards. I don't, I just don't. I'm not in. I don't watch the Oscars. I don't care. If to me a movie is great, which I think this movie is, I don't care about the Academy Awards. Superman creator Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster gave a positive reaction. Shuster was delighted to see Superman on the screen. He got chills. Chris Reeve had just the right touch for the humor. Roger Ebert gave it the 4 out of 5 stars, although showing criminal scenes as ponderous. Even though the Superman's paired away, a wondrous combination of all the old-fashioned things we really make you tired of. Adventure, romance, heroes, and villains, earthquake, and special effects. You know what else? What? He praised the Reeve, saying that he sells the role. I agree with him. Long casting here would have sunk everything. His lately film was work because of its wits and special effects. So at least the filmmakers, I'm glad they directed and really worked hard for this movie. And I heard that Richard Donner, was almost like a kid behind the scenes. There was a joke between him and Gene Hackman where he said, Gene, you gotta shave your mustache because Gene Hackman had a mustache. I'll shave my mustache. He calls him Dick. Richard Donner is Dick. He calls some people that have that name, Richard. But he's like, Dick, I'll shave my mustache, shave yours. So Richard Donner said, okay. And of course he shaved it. Gene Hackman did, and of course Gene Hackman was like, Dick, you gotta shave your mustache. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. And pulls it off, and he's poor joking him. And he had a lot of spirit on the spirit of a kid on that, and he really loved making the movie and really made the atmosphere really well. It was really well. Everyone director is really involved in the movie, loves doing the movie, and has passion for doing the movie that he's directing. And Richard Donner really good, But, Oh. Okay. Anyway, let me talk about the plot synopsis real quick. Hope you guys can see and hear me. Yeah, I gotta get a haircut sometime. Let me be careful not wasting that water. Alright, well, what the plot synopsis, what Superman the movie is that just before the destruction of the planet Krypton, scientist Jor-El sends his infant son, Kal-El, on a spaceship to Earth, raised by kindly farmers, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Young Clark Kent discovers the source of his superhuman powers, and moves to Metropolis to fight evil as Superman. He battles the villainous Lex Luthor, who basically has a plan to destroy the West Coast, who wants this real estate, and it would kill millions of people. So Superman, of course, has to take him down and defeat him. Well, as reporter Clark Kent, the clumsy reporter Clark Kent, he attempts to woo co-worker Lois Lane, whom he likes. Yeah, and that's the plot of the movie in a nutshell for you. You should know what Superman's about for most of you that don't know. We'll talk more about it. Okay, let's see here. Oops, sorry. Alright. I know we're 28 minutes in. Sue me. I think this film definitely deserves a very long review. I'll have to go in depth on my reviews. That's just me, folks. You know me. I like doing that. Alright, so now we're going to get into Superman the movie. No, what are you doing? Okay. Pretty much the film opens up, with the Superman theme by John Williams, and this score is still, in my opinion, this score is epic. This definitely is the right music score for the character, in my opinion. This theme is for Superman. This fits the character very well, and you have the credits opening and all that stuff, and as we're going through space, very well opening credits, very great job with that. Love that space in the credits, and the music score just gives me chills. It's like, just gets you excited. I mean, this music score just gets you pumped. Just once, just grabs your attention right away. I think a film that has, I wish movies would do this more, where you have a great, memorable soundtrack like this, a good music score opening, that can really, you as a viewer, or the audience, grab your attention. The movie's got your attention, you're sucked in it, into the story, and you're just in there. It's got you hook, line, and sinker. That's what a music score, I think, should do for a film. But of course, it opens on the planet of Krypton, which is a dying planet where it is, of course, ruled by a council of elders. The scientists built the S-shaped crest, which means hope on their planet. Well, it doesn't say here, but it's the House of El, where Jor-El is, of course, you found out that General Zod and his two companions, Nun and Ursa, General Zod is trying to take over the planet, so they're basically holding a court for them, saying that you're guilty, and, Jor-El is making his case of what they've done, and, of course, their jury says that they're guilty. And General Zod says, you've been disagreeing with the council before. Jor-El, you can join me. You can still have my seat. We can still be together. We're not be together like that, but we can still rule the world together. You and me. We'll Krypton over together, take it over. Because you've been disagreeing with you will bow down before me, Jor-El. You one day, and one day you're us. Your son, I guess. I thought he said ass, but I guess he said your heir, which means Kal-El. And Jor-El just ignores him, and of course, and this is still a little scary to me, where the Phantom Menace comes down. It's like this big swoop thing that comes down, and none of them see it. It's like Krypton's like an open bowl, and you just see it. The miniature effects are still brilliant, by the way, by Derek Mannings here. The miniature looks so real for Krypton. It looks amazing. Where they, and then they're in the Phantom Zone, the faces are just like this, and it's rolling, and they're like, help me, forgive me, help, And this is, by the way, like the extended version of half of the movie, but the original and extended version of the movie, they're both still great. Either way, in my opinion. Jor-El tries to talk to the council about the Phantom Zone, which is a prison that also Jor-El built. The Phantom Zone, like on Earth we have prison and Krypton, the Phantom Zone is basically a prison. Of course, Jor-El tries to warn the Council of Elders that we need to, he's like, I'm telling you, we need to evacuate this planet immediately. Within 1 day or 30 days, this planet will explode. And he's like, you can't decide to stay, and they don't believe him. One scientist is saying, Jor-El, you're a best scientist. He's like, my friend, you don't mean to be irrational or impulsive. I can't do Marlon Brando, but, he's saying, it's suicide. No, it's worse. It's genocide. We have to evacuate this planet immediately. And, of course, they said, this discussion is terminated. One of the elders said, and if you try to warn people, we'll arrest you and put you in the Phantom Zone, Jor-El. You'd accuse me of treason, so why don't you commit a crime to save lives? And they just walk away and ignore him, and he's like, what are you going to do, Jor-El? Well, me and my wife and my son, my born child, we're going to, we have a spacecraft and we're going to be leaving this planet. If you say anything, Jor-El's like, I will remain silent, and they walk away, and Jor-El's like disappointed because he knows they're going to die, and that the planet's failing, that they just don't want to listen to him. But they do promise not to leave the planet, if they're ever going to try to do that, but they can leave the planet anyway because it's getting to the time of Krypton, the sun's come closer, Krypton is very close to being destroyed. So they take their infant son, Kal-El, Jor-El's wife, Laura, Kal-El's mother, Superman's mother, his biological parents. They build a little starship for him to take him to Earth, and Laura's not for it. She's like, but he'll be different. He'll be an outcast, and he's like, yes, he will be different, but their son will give him powers like ever before, and he won't be alone. He's like, he'll be alone. Now Jor-El's like, no, he'll never be alone. And they are very sad to do this because this is their child, their son, their baby boy, and they have to put him in the spaceship just for his protection, because he has to go to Earth because he'll die like us, and they don't want that for him. Then he gives them a speech, which I'm going to go ahead and say the speech. I think the rest of it is right here. He's like this, they put Superman, Jor gives his son a kiss on the head, and they just put him in there, and baby Kal-El was just sitting in there, and then he's like, you will travel far, my little Kal-El, but we will never leave you, even in the face of our deaths. The riches of our lives shall be yours. All that I have, all that I've learned, everything I feel, all this and more, I beg of you, my son, you will carry me inside you all the days of your life. You will make my strength your own, and see my life through your eyes, as your life will be seen through mine. The son becomes the father, and the father becomes the son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. Of course, her and Laura just kind of hug each other for a minute, just a sad moment. And they get ready to, Jor-El starts the ship with the crystal on it that will give Kal-El his powers on Earth. And then it's also terrifying to see Krypton blow up. But the ship takes off, the spaceship clicks in and it takes off. And you see Jor-El and Laura seeing Kal-El's ship take off, knowing that they'll never see him ever again, which is sad. And also that the planet Krypton starts getting destroyed, just everything starts wrecking, and people are running and screaming, dying and falling. It's just, and the world turning red. It's just, and Krypton just blows up, and it's just pieces now. It just becomes a graveyard basically, and it takes Kal-El's baby ship to get to the Earth for 3 years. And as he's hearing, Jor-El had like a voiceover on the little ship, and he's talking to baby Kal-El, and baby Kal-El is kind of growing up a little more. I would say he's about maybe 3 years old at this point. He's grown a little bit in there, in the baby ship, in the starship. It also passes the Phantom Stone, which in the extended cut, it passes the Phantom Stone, which I have of, Zod, Ursa, and Nala, like, help me in the Phantom Stone. And again, like you said, he's aging during the ship process. And of course, the ship lands in Smallville, Kansas, where farmers named Jonathan and Martha can't drive, and they hear this thing and was like, what was that? It was like, oh, beat darn it, the car's over again, and Martha kind of turns over, Jonathan does too, and they're like, what's that? They see like it's a spaceship, they're like, and they go look in it, and of course they see little baby Kal-El, just little cute baby, just smiling at them. Yeah, 3-year-old Kal-El, just they put him in a red robe because he's naked. And they said that they adopt Clark. They said, we gotta find out who that boy is. As Jonathan's fixing the car. And, they decide to adopt him and just make up a story, because they don't want to tell nobody where Clark is at, because they're afraid, somebody will try to come get him, and they want to protect him at his very young age. But they find out he has powers when Jonathan's changing the tire, he slips, the jack slips, and it couldn't really fell on him, but the baby Kal-El grabs the truck, and this 3-year-old baby just lifts up the truck. We're like, yeah. And then basically, 15 years later, of course, now his name is Clark Kent, which they give him the name Clark Kent. And he's a student at Smallville. He's basically shy, and Clark is bullied. He knows he has superpowers, but he doesn't know how or he got them. He doesn't even know where he's from. I think by now he knows what planet he is from. He likes a girl named Lana Lang, who was his first, I think, love interest in the comics. Brad is this guy who's basically a bully who doesn't like Clark. and he's like the football manager, you know, and they bully him. He can't show his powers, you know, Jonathan just does not want him to show his powers. And you know, he's like, well, Ken, you gotta do this. And Clark's like, he's mad. And he, you know, he could play football, but he can't because of his powers. Can't let nobody. So he's always having to keep it a secret. So, like I said, you know, Superman himself, you know, young Clark Kent, he's a bit of an outcast. He can't let nobody about his powers. You get more into that in Smallville, but he kicks the football, you know, where Clark just kicks it halfway across the field, which was cool, you know. He decides to go for a run because he's doing super speed, and he runs his train, and there's a little girl that name's Lois Lane. They, of course, will work him at the Daily Planet, you know, when he's Clark Kent with the glasses on one day, and he runs, and he jumps across that train, he beats the train and is able to, you know, jump before the train comes in on his head. He's like, woo! And then the teenager scene, he shows up his brother's like, how'd you get here, Kent? You're an odd boy. He's like, I ran. And Jonathan Kent is like, shut off again, son. He's like, you know, Dad, I can show off my powers, I can do this, and like, you can do all these things, son. You were brought here for a reason, and it wasn't to score touchdowns, you know. You know, he's like, so this is Clark. We were afraid people would take you away, but no, that didn't happen. Then, you know, Clark goes to pet the family dog, and he goes chase the dog and say hi to Martha. She's just saying, like, she's, I think, knitting or something. And Jonathan's able to run too, and he's like, he starts suddenly, he's like, Jonathan Kent's like, oh no. And he passes out and dies from a heart attack, and he's really sad here. Thought that was sad. And, you know, they say, Dad, you know, he's like, you know, and Mark's like, Jonathan. And then they say, you know, we see his funeral, he's passed away from the heart attack. Clark's like, all those powers, and I couldn't save him. It just goes to show that, you know, Superman can't save everybody, you know. That's what I kind of saw in this movie, too, you know. Even though I think Man is still played more than that, this scene does show that Superman can't save everybody, all with his powers, you know. Clark eventually falls asleep at night. I just sometimes read this, so I don't want to lose my place. I'm afraid to lose my place talking about the movie. But as Clark falls asleep during nighttime, he hears the green crystal that is, well, as he says in Superman 2, calling to him. As it calls to him, he goes to the barn and sees it. And I think it's like telling him where he should go. That's the best way I can explain about the crystal. Where's the meteor? And it's basically activated spirit from Jor-El telling him where to go. And he basically tells Martha, his mom, you know, his biological mother, that he has to leave and go find out who he is, you know, because he has to have answers. And, you know, he's like, son, always remember us, always remember, always remember. And they give each other a hug there. And he also tells her, you know, this other form will be able to help out. And they have a nice hug. And Clark gets to the North Pole. He takes the green crystal out of his bag, and he throws it, and it melts, and it builds, of course, Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Fortress of Solitude is like, it's like almost a second home to Superman. As you say, Metropolis in Smallville is his home. His second home, I would say, is basically the Fortress of Solitude. It's like Krypton for him, or where if he's feeling frustrated or upset, that's where he goes, you know. It's cold there, but Superman's from Krypton, and Krypton is a very cold planet, so he can handle, Superman can handle the cold. And he goes in there, you know, sees the crystal, puts it in, and of course this is where you get Jor-El. It says, hello, my son, you know, tells him who he is and tell him, you know, you have answers. Who are you? And he's like, who am I? He's like, your name is Kal-El. You come from your home planet is Krypton. And he basically takes him to his journey through space into maturity. He educates him on the universe and on his purpose in life, what he's here to do for truth, justice, and the American way. Well, basically, I think he's also training Kal-El, Clark, to fight and to use his superpowers for good. And this is when he's like, "So, my son, I've sent my only son, Kal-El, a Krypton." And then, you get that shot of the first of Brando's face, and the scene where it pops out and the eye, and then you see him as Superman for the first time, just flying out of the cave, out of the Fortress Solitude, which was cool. And of course, he's 30 by now. And of course, he basically, like I said, he flies out of the cave. He's got, of course, the red suit, And then he goes to Metropolis eventually, where he has to go in disguise as, of course, the bumbling, clumsy Clark Kent. I like it, when we first see Lois Lane and Jimmy. Jimmy's taking a picture of her, and she does some massacre. She's trying to get another Pulitzer, writing a story, and Perry White is going off, nagging off, and he's talking to Clark Kent, and they know Clark Kent's like, "Hi, Clark Kent," and he's like, "Jimmy Olsen, oh, Clark Kent." He shakes Jimmy's hand, and there's a little moment where Clark is holding the ball, and it sprays everywhere. Remember, he's not really bumbling. Remember, the Clark Kent. Remember, Clark Kent is just the disguise for Superman. He's like, "Of course, why make a total stranger out of a total fool out of a stranger?" And it's like, "Hey, Clark, there's your suit. Your desk." And I like to know Jimmy's like, "Here's your tell Mr. Clark, Mr. Kent, Clark Kent, Jimmy Olsen, Clark Kent." But they go out, Clark follows us, and there's a chat who's like, "It was nice meeting you guys today. It was swell." "Swell? You're the first person I've ever heard say that." I like when they're going through the door escalator, and Clark gets stuck in there. He tries to meet some guy, I forget what this guy's name was, but he just ignores Clark. And they go into this, they start talking, so that's this meeting, guys, you were great, Jimmy Olsen, Miss Perry White was nice, and Jimmy Olsen was great, and then a man points a gun at them, a mother, and they have to shoot them. He's like, "Oh, sir, you can't," Clark says, "you can't solve society's problems with a gun. That just doesn't work." He's like, "Oh, turn over a new leaf, sir." Right after all this lady's purse. And Lois gives him the purse, and Jeff's like, Lois, what are you doing? And Lois kicks him, and the guy shoots him, but Lois is like this. The guy's just like with a gun, but Clark, of course, Superman grabs the bullet before it gets into Lois and pretends to pass out. And she's like, "Clark, I guess I sort of passed out." "Passed out?" "Yeah." I was like, "Well, Lois, that man could have shot you. Would it really worth the 2 lipsticks and a whatever shit?" And I was like, "You just said all the stuff in my purse. How did you know that?" "Wow." Of course, because, Superman has X-ray vision. He can see through anything but lead. Of course, the painting was a cover. Then these two, I guess, cops or FBI agents, what they were named Harry and Armis characters. These two undercover cops are after Otis, who, of course, Otis is the clumsy henchman for the Lex Luthor, who, of course, is a criminal, and they see that they can get onto Lex, where his secret hideout is, and the cops show, of course, Otis. And, of course, I guess Lex would expect that. And I like it when Otis tries to buy a newspaper, tries to steal a newspaper instead, but the blind man who has a dog barks at him was like, okay, I'll pay you. And as they follow Otis into the subway, track 22 of the station, he's able to get him through a button, which he knows, and then Armis tries to go there. And of course, there's cameras down there so Lex can see it, and Lex sees the guy trying to go through the door, not going to let this guy come through the door, right? Sorry. Lex pushes this button to just kill him. He's like, whoa, the train comes and the guy dies. And Miss Chessboard's like, his girlfriend and assistant are like, Lex, is that really necessary? Yeah, it was. You know, the greatest criminal mind of all time, who wants to do the crime wave of the century. And Lex's plan is to get real estate. He wants to make a bunch of money. He wants to destroy Metropolis and basically just rule over it and take over Metropolis. It tells about, you know, he's the greatest criminal mind of all time. He's like, and of course, Lex Luthor, and here he's Gene Hackman's version. Yeah, he's campy a bit, but he is basically psychotic. But he's a genius as well, which makes him even more dangerous. He doesn't have, Lex Luthor doesn't have superpowers, but I think what makes him a great enemy to Superman is that he's very genius and smart, you know. You know, and he's like, you were forwarded to this, and he's like, oh, give me that paper. Why is it in my hand? Give it to me. And he reads the paper. Yeah, I like it, you know. He's like, Miss Chessmarker, you have it all. Nobody has it all like you. Like, under 200 feet down the ground, which they are, 200 feet under the ground. He's like, what more can anybody ask for? As him and, like, as him and Otis say. Luthor has been purchasing, you know, the sides of the major cities, I think like San Francisco. He's planning to detonate it, of course, and kill millions of people. You have Lois and Clark talking a little bit. Clark tries to ask Lois out, and she's like, Clark lays room, and can you do a pound of that for me? And she tells him that she's got to go. She boards his chopper to go to the Air Force One just to do a story, and it gets sucked off the updraft of the chopper, snags, and it gets away. And of course, this is where you get the helicopter scene where Clark Kent, you know, where he, you know, Lois is begging for help. She's at the end of they're at the end of not the tunnel, but the end of the building, where the helicopter's like kneeling over the side of the building, and she's like, help, help! And Clark sees her hat, and of course he tries to go change Superman. He tries a phone booth. I don't know if that was a Superman joke there, but it was. He's like, no. And he goes in the escalator door, you know, and switches to Superman for the first time. When we get to see Superman finally, and you know, it's like, whoa, Jimbo, you know, and then Superman's like, excuse me, he's like, what a bad suit, man, and Superman falls up there, and Lois falls, but Superman comes up, he's like, he catches her, and as he catches Lois, Lois like, you got me, but who's got you? And Superman just smiles. If the helicopter falls with the pilot still in, but Superman got it just with one arm, and you get that great theme, you know, the Superman theme. Sorry, it just gives me chills just thinking about it. You know, you know, and then Superman drops the plane on Lois Lane and says, "This man needs a medical attention." And then Lois is like, "Wait, who are you?" He's like, "You know who I am." "I do." I think she says that. I don't remember, but he's like, I'm a friend, and he flies away, and Lois is like, he's like, bye, and she like, just, oh, it just passes out, which is funny. And he does, and that night he also does more heroic stuff, like stopping a cab burglar. The guy is climbing up the wall, and Superman, you know, he hits Superman's feet. Superman's like, well, can the elevator didn't work? And the guy like, whoa, and Superman's like, and flies down and catches him. He just flies down the guy's window office, and Superman like, catches the guy, kind of like he was catching a pancake. And then the guy's like, in the office like, you know, and he's like, officer, I think they say confession is good for the soul. I'll listen to this man. Have a good night, officer. And they're like, whoa. The officer tries to tell his commander about it. There's also bank robbers who steal from the bank. two get arrested, two get away. One of them uses a crowbar to attack Superman. It doesn't work, and Superman, I guess, captures them and flies them down and saves the day. And then what's cool about this Superman, what I love about Christopher Reeve Superman, he does so well, is that he comes off as your best friend. You know, he's just wanting to come over and talk to you and help you. Very nice to shake somebody's hand or just say hi, how are you? You know, he saves a little girl's cat from a tree, which, okay, that was cool. And then tells the little girl, like, well, bye. You know, that's how I like that Superman here is a lighthearted character. Chris Reeve really just, it's like Superman just came from the comic books over to live action. And it is so cool, like I said, I forget to say, but what's so amazing about these scenes is that you see Superman flying, and it looks so realistic, it looks so great in my opinion. They did a great job with this, with the wires. I can't even tell his word. I mean, this movie made me believe in Make a Fly. I'm not just saying that, it really did make me believe in Make a Fly. It just looks fantastic to look at on screen. And of course, Air Force One gets struck by lightning. Superman, you know, comes and says, and they look at him, and Superman's like, just waving, and they're like, what is it? Just nothing, just fly. Trust me, just fly. And they're looking at Superman as he's, you know, flying them to safety. You know, Jor-El, and of course and then they send a version, which I have. If you have the original version, you won't show it. But he talks to Jor-El and says, "You liked it, didn't you? Yes. You can't say there 28 hours a day. It's 24 hours a day, Father. Oh, that's Earthcon." And Jor-El's like, "You gotta keep your secret safe. You know, you gotta keep your secret. You gotta keep your identity secret." Like, why, Father? 2 reasons: because you can't handle the Earth's problems 24 hours a day. Well, the Earth is 20 hours anyway. You know, you can't do everything for them. You know, they sometimes use the resources too much. Humans do, and I have to forget the second part. You know, he just tells them you can't use your powers too much, and you can't beat it all the time. You can't solve all the world's problems. You're here to help, but you're not here to play God. And this is what I felt like Jor-El was kind of telling me. You're just here to save and fight truth just in the American way. You know, which the speech was, I guess Superman could take it. But he's like, I'm proud of you, Kal. You've done very well, my son. If right now I would just embrace you, just give him a hug. And of course, like we say, Superman can never see Jor-El ever again. He say his real father again because remember he died, and Superman's just kind of just like wishes he could just hug his father, and Jor-El disappears, and he's like, and as the music just sounds off, and just the fortress out there goes a little dark, I do like it though when Clark is watching the news and Richard Donner has a cameo saying, "This is not, that you can't buy that, but a man flying one day." Well, you never believe till you see it. I guess Clark says that, and that was funny. And Lex Luthor finds out that when he learns about Superman, and he's swimming in his pool, and they're like just having a beach day in the other ground. Superman, Lex Luthor's like, great, he's a natural challenge for me, and he basically goes to destroy Superman to figure out how to destroy him. He's like, he's a good challenger, and of course Lex right away just wants to destroy Superman because Superman can stop his plans. I like it when Otis just puts the robe on. He's like, Otis, next time wait until I'm out of the pool. Duh. Perry White basically decides to, let's do something for Superman. Let's find out whatever they call him, Cape Wonder. Like, let's find out who is something we need to interview for him. I want to know who he is, where's his girlfriend, where's this and that. They just see, Perry White sees it as a big story, and he goes for it. That's the kind of editor-in-chief he is. He just goes for the story. And he sends, like, Clark sends her a message, as Superman, and saying, at your place at 8 o'clock, for a meeting, and she seemed happy about that. And, y'all get an interview with Superman, it'd be like, God, since God talked to Moses, like, get going, what are you waiting on? And, of course, they meet at night, Clark and Superman flies over to Lois's landing place. She interviews him, asks him how much of his weight, where is he from. He tells her the planet Krypton. Most people would know who he is, to get to know him, that it might be a stranger, that he's from another planet. He tells her he's from Krypton, and you have this like flirtation. Again, the chemistry between Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve is so believable as Superman and Lois, that you believe that they're in love. It's like they're flirting here a bit, and he takes her for a flight. You want to see how fast do you fly? He's like, well, we can find that out. And he takes her for a flight. He goes with love, romantic music going, and Superman just going flying with her up and down, and she nearly falls. Superman catches her. They have each other. He's holding her and holding each other's eyes because they like each other. And then you have that little writing song. Well, not a song, but a little theme for "Can You Read My Mind," which is there, but a special moment, between two people who love each other. And it's like, okay, well, Lois, we're in love. I gotta go. When Superman flies off, and he comes back as Clark Kent, and he basically just takes his glasses off and just, with the shoulders, does that again as Clark Kent. And Superman has the shoulders kind of muscular. And he's like, Lois, there's something I gotta tell you, but then he realizes he can't do it. Just for her safety, I guess. Can't really tell her how he feels about her, and he can't tell her he's Superman. So he goes back to Lois, I was saying, we're gonna go to which burgers are we going to, for a burger, And he sees his, because it's like he just, Clark had just met the woman of his dreams, basically. Oh yeah, then he's able to, I forgot I mentioned Superman can't see through that, I forgot I mentioned that. And Superman can see through her skirt, well, not in that way, but there's just flirtation going on where he can see that she has pink underwear. She's like, do you like pink? He's like, I like pink very much, Lois, And, as Lex Luthor and his minions, Miss Taskmaster and Otis, read about Superman and find out about him, they're able to find out the Green Meteorite, which is kryptonite, will destroy him. And Lex talks about, well, let's get this kryptonite and give it over to Superman to kill him, And then later they decide to get the two missile convoys, which they got it's used for an upcoming test, but he's going to use these to destroy San Francisco and half of the West Coast. This is the plan to kill millions of people and get real estate and, commit the crime wave of the century, as Luthor calls it. So they have to go to skies. Miss Taskmaster wears a red dress and pretends to get into a wreck, and of course distracts the officers because she's a beautiful lady, so, they're distracted by that. And as Otis is able to go into the convoy, the missile, and change the directions, but of course, he does it wrong. And he's like, Otis, you got it wrong. Otis, you got it wrong. Well, I put it on wrong, Mr. Luthor. He's like, you want to see Lord Otis? Do it. And she, and Miss Taskmaster's like, and she has to drive the car. And they have to do it over again. This time, Lex and Otis, I see Otis with a black eye that Luthor gave him. They were distracted by, she goes in there and changes the coordinates and gets it right. And I'm sorry. But they finally get the test going. We also find that Lois is in San Francisco or part of the West Coast, interviewing a chief. Indian chief, and Clark hears this signal, kind of like a dog would hear, and he's like, "Oh, Superman, this is the only way. Superman, you can hear me, and no one else. Only you and 408 dog can hear me. So, Superman, this is the only way I can meet you. I couldn't get you meet you because as he's talking to Superman can hear him as Lex is talking." I can't invite you over for tea, so this is the only way I get you. So I'm planning to kill a bunch of people, this poison gas. And the only way to do that, Superman, is to cause destruction and chaos. Because Superman, you care. If people are in danger, they're going to die. You care, and you'll come. And then, of course, Clark jumps out the window, was able, nobody sees him, takes the glasses off, jumps, and flies down, and is able to get into the Superman suit. He flies over, he's trying to hear the signal, he's flying around Metropolis a little bit, gets the signal finally, flies down, and his people, folks, back off, everything's okay. And he just rolls around and is able to get under the underground because he finds it's under there. And he's like, how you doing, Superman? And Lex pulls these traps on Superman. First, it's like, oh, let's see what he can do. You know, the way they says, she's like, oh, Superman's cute. It's like, cute, huh? I'll show you what that cute is. You know, he's able to pull some traps by having machine guns shoot at Superman, and Superman just walks through them because it can't affect him. Bullets can't hurt him. And he's like, well, Superman, if you can't send heat, get out of the tunnel. So he tries to burn him on fire, and Superman just walks through it unscathed and fine. Again, Man of Steel. He's improving still any kind of pain. Then he tries to freeze Superman. Like, Superman, what you should do is freeze. And he freezes him, but Superman's able to break out of there and come. And they decide to go, like, sit at his desk. And Otis says, open the door for him. And he's like, he's coming, Mr. Luthor. You know, because if Superman comes, Superman gets ready to break down. And he's like, he's really coming, Mr. Luthor. You know, and he breaks down and is like, oh, hi, Superman. Hi, Supes. Baby. I'll be contacting my lawyer about you breaking the door. He's like, alright, Luthor, where's the gas pellet? He's like, the poison for the detonator for poison. In the back of my mind, there is no poison. I just have a lawyer, basically, he's going to tell Superman his evil plan. And he's like, is that how you're going to kick Luthor? Damn it. Sorry. He's like, is that how you're going to kick Luthor? By planning the deaths, by carrying out the death of millions of people? He's like, no, by causing the death of millions of people. And as he goes on to talk about, sometimes I go over my reviews, sorry, but he decides to talk about his plan about the West Coast and what he's going to do. And how he's going to destroy the West Coast. Sorry. Your stupid phone. Sorry. He's like, well, here's the West Coast they show Superman at, and I like it when it's like, Otisburg's like, Lex is like, Otisburg? I thought it'd be a nice little place, I'm just test my air place, and I thought I have a place. He's like, get rid of it! And Superman just laughs about that. He's like, I need a geography lesson from you, Luthor. I like it when he's listening to Lex talk a little more about what he's going to do. He's like, goodbye West Coast, and welcome West Coast, my West Coast. He's like, and right here, it's going to destroy millions of people. Superman's like, no, they can't help him, he's doing the poses. He's like, no. And then he, breaks it. Sorry, that's my mom. But he's like, so what do you think, Suit Baby? What do you think of my plan? He's like, well, he's like, telling him that you're crazy. But like, where's the detonator, Luthor? Don't play games with me. And he's like, he tries to look for it. through his office, but can't see through the leg of the suit. He's like, you know I can't see through the leg. He's like, look at you, disease maniac. You know I can't see through the leg. So he just grabs him, like, well, where's the detonator? Picks him up. He's like, oh, and he throws him down first, but then after that, Coleman disease maniac, Superman throws him like, don't open that box. I'm warning you, don't open it. And of course, he opens the box. And I didn't notice at first, like, Kryptonite was his weakness, but Superman opens the box as Kryptonite. Superman's like, just shrank away from him. He's feeling weak and very weak because Kryptonite, green Kryptonite will weaken and it will kill him. He's like, I know your weakness. And he's like, I told you how to open it, Superman. I told you. It's Kryptonite, Superman. I wanted to make you feel right at home. I spent no space to do that for you. He's like, he picks it up and there's gonna finally put the chain. It's like a, sorry. Yeah. Like a chain of kryptonite here. Yeah, that Luthor has. Threatening to kill Superman with it. Yeah. And he's like, as he brings the chain, he's like, you're a great day, Superman, but somehow this diseased maniac will catch you ships and kill you one day. You didn't expect that, did you? Mind over muscle, Superman? And then he puts the chain over Superman. He's like, you don't care what the missile is headed, do you? He's like, even you with the great speed can't stop it. He's like, of course I do. California, or whatever he says. And, he throws Superman in the pool, and Superman's just drowning, and the kryptonite's weakening him. And he's like, well, I'll catch you later. Just have a little fun swimming in there. Well, I have a little falls. And mine's in California. And, Miss Chessmark over here is like, Lex, my mother lives there in Canada, or wherever. And he's like, doesn't care. Just walks away. And as the missile starts taking place, it starts getting ready to destroy things. Lex Luthor, uses the detonator to get it, and Superman is in the water trying to get the kryptonite off, but again, kryptonite is very much stronger than him. It's weakening him, killing him, and he's just trying to get it off, but he can't. And Miss Chessmarker decides to help him. Well, says, if you help my mother first, you can't love the death of me. Miss Chessmarker, please, It's like, but Jimmy, Lois, well, my mother first. And he's like, okay, I promise. And she jumps in the water and helps Superman. Superman is just freaking out. She gives Superman a kiss. And she picks up the kryptonite chain and throws it, and Superman goes like, why'd you kiss me? He's like, I didn't think you let me later. It's like, how come I can't just get along with you guys? He's like, it's like, it's okay. He's like, we might want to back up. And then Superman flies up to go stop the missiles. And he's just flying through as fast as can, basically San Francisco as much as he can. Superman is able to grab the missile, just grab the back of it, really special effects here, by the way, before they do it with the sun in the bright day. Lois runs out of gas. I forgot to mention that, is running out of gas, and Jimmy's on the Hoover Dam, just getting ready to take pictures on his first assignment. Yeah, Hackensack, okay, that's where her mother lives, but Superman flies and is able to fly the missile, but the other missile hits. Sorry, I just went cold. And the missile eventually hits, and it causes a massive earthquake. The train starts going over. There's a bus of kids that the San Francisco bridge. Superman is able to save the kids. The bridge, that's a scale model they built, a miniature that they built for the movie. And Superman is able to save the bus. It's like, it's okay, kids, and he flies away. And Superman even goes toward the ends of the earth, flies in the bottom of the earth, and is able to save the ground from anybody getting hurt or falling apart. From the earth falling apart, he's able to save that. Well, he saves the kids from the bus. He saves the train by just rolling over like this. The train just comes over him. He saves Jimmy, who was about to fall to his death. And he's like, well, we ain't going nowhere, son. I think in a deleted scene or another scene version of the movie, he lets Jimmy take a picture of the Hoover Dam. He's like, Jimmy, you'll be okay. And then, of course, there's water about to go destroy a little town. Superman has to throw these rocks, well, not throw these rocks, but, push these big rocks over to go save it, and he does. Meanwhile, while Lois pulls out gas and, the car ends up in the dirt, she ends up in the ground, and the dirt's coming over and it's killing her. As Superman saves this town and, putting rocks over it and pushing more bigger rocks over it, he hears Lois, he just, I guess, can hear her, and he's like, and he goes to fly really quickly. Superman flies over and shows the savior, and then he sees Lois' car, and he's like, you see a look in his face, like, and the camera's like this, and Superman's like, and then he flies with it quickly, he picks the car up out of the ground, and then he gets the door and throws it, he's like, Lois. And of course, Lois dies, so I'm like, wow, I was surprised that they actually did that. But, and Superman's like, picks up out of there and is like, and you have this little romantic music going, but she died, and Superman is crying, and then he just, puts her on the ground softly, and, gives her a kiss in the mouth, just gives her a kiss, and then he puts her in his like, and then he's like, to see the woman that he cut down the road, he's like, carefully kisses her, by the way. Then he basically is like this. No. And just flies up in the earth. I can't do it. He's like, gets mad, he flies up to the earth, and he decides to change it. But despite the voices of Jor-El warning him, this guy don't do it, he has the voices of Jor-El saying, it is good for you to, do this, and, son, that you're brought here for a reason. All his power is not going to save him. When he thought about what his younger self said, he decides he cannot interfere with human history, which the big mistake is he does. So Superman flies back around the earth a couple times, just flying and then flying it over again, and of course starting everything over and making everything back to normal. He comes back time by flying around the earth with a perimeter. And Lois is like, alive again. She's like, well, what are you? There's never a man still what you need around. He's like, I'm sorry, Lois. Lois kind of is like, it's okay. I'm sorry. He's like, no. And they're about to share a kiss, and then Jimmy shows up. And, Superman, you just let me go without food, water, nothing? And then Lois shuts him up. He's like, well, I gotta go. He's like, stay still, doesn't he? And Jimmy says, Lois, Clark's not really Clark. I was saying the ridiculous idea you ever thought of. That maybe Clark Kent is Superman, but she buffs it off. Well, not to the second movie, but anyway, and Jimmy's like, well, he really cares about who? Clark? No, Superman. He really cares about you, like in Littlewood, basically. And he's like, Jimmy, Superman cares about everybody, And he gets to Metropolis, and I think, at first there's a little scene where, kind of a movie where, I don't know, which I'm glad the kind of movie where you see Luthor have tiger pets or something, which I don't really care about that. He tries to kill Miss Tessmacher, but he saves her, and you don't see this in there. He's going to drop her to the pits of his babies, but of course, Superman shows up and saves her. And then and I guess Miss Tessmacher doesn't go to jail for helping out Superman, saving those lives. Superman delivers Luthor and Otis to the maximum security prison. He's like, the one's like, who do you have, Superman? And of course, Lex pulls off his wig. His bald head, and he's like, Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal of all time, the greatest criminal of all time. Otis starts imitating him. He was like, shut up, you fool. The prison guard, Superman just kind of laughs about it. He's like, thank you, Superman. This country is safe thanks to you again. He's like, no, Warren, we're all in this together now. And Superman flies off to patrol the earth. You see him flying over the earth and just flying. You got flying, he's smiling. And then you get the intros. The end credits open up. The end credits come, and that's the end of Superman the movie. That's how the film ends. Alright, well, I want to read some dialogue real quick with him. I know, guys, it's long with you. Just bear with me, okay? I'm going to read some dialogue from the film. I don't know, 1 hour and 19 minutes, but this film deserves a long review from me. So, alright. Can you read my mind? Do you know what it is that you do to me? Do I know how you were when Lois is doing the Can You Read My Mind? I don't know who you are, just a friend from another star. Here I am. Here I am. Like kid out of school, holding hands with a god. I'm a fool. Will you look at me? Quivering, like a little girl, shivering. You can see right through me. You can read my mind. Can you picture things I'm thinking of? Wonder why you are? Wondering why you are, all the wonderful things you are. Can you fly? You belong to the sky. You and I could belong to each other. If you need a friend, I'm the one to fly to. If you need to be loved, here I am. Read my mind. Jor-El. A chance of life, nonetheless, are opposed to you cannot ignore these facts. It's suicide. No, it's worse. It's genocide. My friends, you know me to be neither rash nor impulsive. I'm not given to wild and unsupported statements. And I tell you, we must evaluate this planet immediately. You in trouble fall, my little I already read that. Live as long as kill, discover where your strength and your power are needed. Always hold in the heart of the pride of your special heritage. They be right, people kill. They wish to be. They don't like the light to show the way. For this reason above all, I will keep you for good. I have sent them you, my only son. And Superman also tells Lois, I'm here to fight truth and justice in the American way. And he never lies. And Lex Luthor. It's amazing that brain can generate power to keep those legs moving. If any human being were going to permit such a fantastic host, it would be with me. This is Lex Luthor. Only one thing alive with us, the four legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you. In less than 5 minutes, a poison gas pellet containing propane and lithium combined will release thousands of air toxins in the city, eventually annihilating half the population of Metropolis. I told you, the kryptonite Superman will serve him for the old home. I spare no expense to make you feel right at home. Doesn't it give you kind of shudder of electricity to be in the same room with me? It's like, let's just look at him! When he does that, when he's talking to Superman, and Superman's like, really? I have to leave you now. No hard feelings? Well, how are all folks? Mine's in California. Do you know about the number 200 is physically to both you and me? And he says that the other issue of weight and my IQ. Some can be war and peace and come away thinking it's an adventure. Others can open the wrappers of chewing gum and unlock the secrets of the universe. You were great in your day, Superman, but it just stands to reason when it came to time to cash in your chips, this old diseased maniac will be your banker. Mind over muscle? There's a strong streak of good in you, Superman. But then, nobody's perfect. Almost nobody. Hi there, something wrong with the elevator? Good evening, Officer Mooney. Well, what's the commissions do for the soul? I listen to this man. Take him away. And when he gets clubbed by the crowbar in it, and he's like, bad vibrations? Apparently, Lois Clark Kent may seem like a modern reporter, but listen, not only does he know how to treat his energy with the proper respect, not only does he have a snabby, punchy crossbow, but he is, in my 40 years in this business, the fastest typewriter I've ever seen. Hey, dork. Jimmy Olsen? No, good. Too far. Okay. That's all the dialogue I'm reading from the movie. Sorry. Okay, well, let me get my final opinion on Superman the movie, and we'll be done. Yes, I'm almost done. It's already nearly 9 o'clock. Ooh. But to give my final opinion on Superman the movie is, I love this film. This film is a classic. What can I say that's not already been said about it? I think this movie makes you believe a man can fly. It really does. Really great. Again, just where I start. Well, I'll say first of all the story. The story of the film is really good. Again, I love Superman as a character. I think Superman is awesome with his powers, and shows that he's not perfect, that he can't save everyone, but at heart, Superman cares about everybody, cares about the world that he lives in, Metropolis, and cares about saving people, even though he can't save everyone. Sorry. But the film, I think, really sets the standard for how superhero films should be. I think this is really the reason, like I said in the beginning of the video, this is the reason we have superhero movies today. And this is how you use superhero movies, by having a great lead, having a great love interest, having a great villain, and having a good story, a story that you're invested in. Yes, this film is over 151 minutes long, maybe 2 hours, but it's not boring. It has a very good story. I like the opening with Krypton and The story, just this, to me, the story is investing. It's interesting. I love the story of Superman. It's interesting how they do it. As soon as the opening theme starts with da 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 da, you have my attention. You know, I am just glued to the screen with this movie. And Christopher Reeve, he's just great as Superman. You don't see Superman for a while in the movie, but once you see him, he's saving people, he's great, he's smiling, he's very nice. Like I said, he comes off as your best friend. He comes as the true great American hero. That's what Superman is. He fights for truth, justice, in the American way. You know, he fights to save lives. You know, that's what he does. And it's just, I'm invested in the character. And Christopher Reeve, he is my Superman. You know, he got his accident in 1995, his horse accident. He helped out people, even though he broke his spinal cord. And just thinking about Christopher Reeve, I don't want to think about it because it's just sad to think about, because I miss him. And I miss Margaret Kidder, too. I know she passed away. She will always be my Lois Lane, too. You know, always the best. And to me, the best Superman is him, Christopher Reeve, because he was a Superman in real life, too. And he just knew the character of Clark Kent very well. As Clark Kent, he's so funny, bumbling, clumsy. He's just hilarious. This movie is serious, but not all serious. Yeah, it can be campy a little bit, but it works. Tom Maintenance, who I think gets uncredited, he does get uncredited, and he doesn't deserve it. He deserves all the credit for doing this movie, not that other guy, whatever his name was, but Tom Maintenance did a good job with the script. Richard Donner did a great job. He knew what he was doing. He made a great superhero movie. You know, his care and his passion to make this movie, and it worked. You know, from what I heard, Richard Donner never got any sleep during the making of this movie. It was not easy for him because he had to get everything done. He had to be up and at 'em every day. He really never got any sleep. And he worked his butt off just to do this movie. But, you know, Richard Donner, great job directing, the writing, the script is very good. The music score by John Williams, fantastic. I love every piece of it, you know. I like the Superman March, the March of the Villains, the Planet Krypton, Starship, Lex Luthor's Lair, you know, you know, and the Superman March is just great, you know. Like I said, the theme score, the music score by John Williams is great. It really fits the character of Superman, in my opinion. You know, it just, you can't not think about this score and not think about Superman. It just fits the character so well. You know, that's what a superhero film score should do. It should really fit the character. You know, it should fit him, you know, or her, but will fit Superman in the case. It fits the character Superman really well. The cinematography by the late Jerry Usman very well. I really love how the cinematography in this film, it looks wonderful, it looks great. Some of the best cinematography I've ever seen in a movie. Everything is really good. The special effects, I think, still hold up well. In my opinion, yes, they look great on Blu-ray and on DVD, VHS. This movie does still make me believe, you know, it can fly. You know, makes me believe it can fly. That was the point of it. And also, you know, the film has that legacy that will live on, I think, forever. And this film, I think, will always remain a classic. You know. Yeah. But they do such a great job with the film. And, you know, this is how a superhero film should be made, you know, in my opinion. Yeah. And, yeah, the cast, again, Christopher Reeve, great, Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, they're both great in this film. It was a smart move casting them and casting Margaret Kidder. Yeah, they just picked the right Superman. I'm glad, even though they auditioned a lot of actors for Superman, they got the right guy for the job, you know. I think if they didn't cast Christopher Reeve, this film would not have been successful without him, because he took the role very seriously. He put his heart and soul in it. He worked hard for it. Jackie Cooper, Mark McClure as Perry and Jimmy Olsen, they're great. And the rest of the cast, I think, is really great. Terrence Stamp, you know, we'll see them in the next movie, but they were great too. Yeah, and I love this movie. Superman 2, I think, in my opinion, is definitely one of the best superhero films I've ever seen. I think it's still the best superhero film ever to be made. Definitely one of my favorites. I would say top 5 at least. But I love Superman the movie. Yeah, that's all about the cast, the cinematography, the editing, And for 140 minutes long, yeah, the pacing, I would say, is really slow. I don't think it's slow, but the pacing, the story does take a while to get going. But, again, I'm invested in the story, and I'm invested in the main character, that, I'm all for it. I don't mind a superhero movie being long. Superhero movies, again, it's not action movies. The superhero movies, folks, it's not action movies. It's not like, Hard Target than Little Van Damme. It's not that type of movie. It's not that type of movie. It's not an action film. No. The superhero films, superhero films, it's about the story. It's about being invested in the story. It's about the story. It's about being invested in the main character. And again, Gene Hackman was great as Lex Luthor. Ned Beatty as Otis, he's funny. And he just cracks me up. The campiness, I think, still works in my opinion. It may not work for everybody, this Lex Luthor, but I liked him as Lex Luthor. He's a bit campy, but he was still insane. I'm talking about Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. I mean, he was great. I know he was worried about, tarnishing, but no. This definitely proved that Gene Hackman can be funny and can be a little campy, and crazy, and basically a maniac, a disease maniac at the same time. But definitely a great movie from start to finish. My one big issue, I do have one big issue with the movie, but I will let it slip. Superman flying around space. I mean, the whole thing with the flying, around the Earth. And I just don't think Superman should be messing with history, or if Superman, like I said, he's not a god, he shouldn't be changing history, but, it's like he didn't get punished for it, he didn't get in trouble for it by Jor-El. I think he should have, because, really, he can't just do that, but, it is what it is. But I'll let it slip because since I want him to save Lois, again, Martin Kidder and, Christopher Reeve as Superman and Lois, they had great chemistry, you can tell that they were in love. And, it was sad, you want Superman to save her. As soon as you see her die, it's really a sad and touching scene, and you want to see him save her. You see the pain and the anger that he feels, just screaming, that you want him to save her. So, this time I'll just let it slip. Even though I still have an issue with it, I'll let it slip. So, I'll let that issue slip. Yeah. But one time, for me, is just good enough. One time is good enough. Another time, no. But Superman the movie, the classic film, I'm going to give Superman the movie a thumbs up, and my rating for this film is 5 out of 5 stars. Yes, 5 out of 5 stars. This film is great, one of the best superhero movies or movies ever made in my opinion. A classic, I love this movie. If you don't like it, that's fine, to each his own. But I love this movie. I think it's one of the, if in my opinion, the best superhero film ever made, and definitely one of the greatest superhero films ever made, in my opinion. I love Superman the movie, so I definitely recommend checking it out. If you like Superman the movie, I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of superheroes, definitely check out Superman the movie. But if you're not a fan of Superman, which some people are not fans of Superman, well, I'll tell you this. Even if you're not a fan of Superman out there, people that are watching this video, if you're not a fan of the Superman character, just remember, any superhero movies you like now, that come out nowadays, you got those superhero movies because of this. Because of Richard Donner, his hard work, and Christopher Reeve's hard work. Because of this film, you get superhero movies. So, and not only for me, start with Superman franchise, but this was the superhero movie that really started off for the whole superhero genre. This right here. But 5 out of 5 stars is my rating for the movie, and a thumbs up. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed my review of Superman the movie. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of this classic film? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What's your opinion on it? Don't be afraid to tell me your opinion, in the comments down below. But anyway guys, for my next Superman review, next I will be reviewing the 1980 sequel. Next I'll be reviewing, which I got from Blockbuster. Next I'll be reviewing Superman 2. Yes, this will be next, the sequel, Superman 2, which I like. And I will be reviewing the Superman 2 Richard Donner cut. Now, both movies won't be together. I'm going to be reviewing those separately, starting with Superman 2, the original version first, and then the Richard Donner cut. Yeah, but review them separately. But next will be Superman 2. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed my review of Superman the movie. 5 out of 5 stars once again is my rating for the movie. And hope you look forward to my next review for the next to my next Superman review, and that will be Superman 2. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I gotta take off. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Thanks for watching. It's been a long night. I'm a little crazy. Just ignore me. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you thought of this movie. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe and wear a mask. I got my mask here. Here. But stay safe. And when you go out there, and stay warm because it's cold. Well, it's cold here in Georgia. But if it's cold here, definitely stay warm. Have a good night, y'all, or a good day, wherever you're at. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Bye.